My name is Melissa Pavon, and I'll talk about Tungiasis complications. First of all, I'll start with the definition of Tungiasis. Tungiasis is a cutaneous parasitic infestation by the fertilized female sand flea Tunga penetrans that usually occurs on the feet but may occur anywhere where bare skin touches soil containing gravid female fleas. In Tungiasis, the gravid female jigger flea penetrates bare skin usually on the feet, under or near the toenails, or in the interdigital web spaces, to feed on blood and tissue juices and to incubate hundreds of developing eggs within days.
Spread onward to India, etc. In 1525, González Fernández de Ovidia y Valdés encountered them and discussed the skin infection and its symptoms on crew members from Christopher Columbus's Santa Maria after they were shipwrecked on Haiti. Ships traversed the Atlantic for centuries, and jiggers were likely introduced in small numbers to various places, but the jigger's main foothold in Africa is associated with a specific ship, the Thomas Mitchell, which came to Ambres, Angola in 1872. The crew was reportedly infested with jiggers and spread them by walking on shore. Other accounts say the ship dumped her sand ballast against regulations. Sandy soil is the favorite environment of jiggers, as they develop from eggs through stages to fleas. From Angola, the parasite spread inland by trade routes, assisted by Europeans exploring the interior, such as Stanley in 1888. It was recorded in Nyasaland, now Malawi, in 1891, and on the coast of Mozambique in 1895. It was found on Madagascar and in Calcutta, India in 1899. In 1900, it was incapacitating native soldiers in Uganda. It is mentioned to be in Sudan in 1906, in Transvaal, South Africa, in 1912, and the Seychelles in 1914. A document in 1924 noted its appearance in Kenya. Isolated instances of jiggers may have occurred in various countries before 1872, but that is when widespread infestation of Africa aroused public notice.
Complications from Tungiasis may include viral and bacterial superinfections. This occurs due to the parasite rupturing the outer skin, facilitating the development of additional infections. Severe Tungiasis on the lower part of the body or legs can make it difficult or impossible to walk due to severe pain. Sometimes the infections can lead to severe inflammation and necrosis of nearby tissue, resulting in permanent loss of the affected tissue.
Jigger fleas burrow so deep you have to cut them out. If you've just returned from South America or Sub-Saharan Africa and you find this white spot with a dark center dot on your feet or hands, watch out. Because it could be jiggers, or chigo fleas, which are common parasites in tropical and subtropical areas with dry, warm soil and sand. While jiggers can appear in beaches, farms, and wooded areas in countries like Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya, locals who go around barefoot are most often affected by them. Chigo fleas feed on warm-blooded hosts, such as humans and cattle, when their skin is exposed. While male jiggers will leave after a nice bloody meal, females aren't that easy to shake off. They burrow headfirst into the host's skin, leaving the tips of their tails outside. Over the next 1 to 2 weeks, they can swell considerably, incubating eggs and causing an intensely irritating skin infection called Tungiasis. The eggs are laid outside the skin and fall onto the ground before they hatch. In extreme cases, the host skin becomes flaky, and a scalpel is required to cut out the jigger. Alcohol or disinfectant is then applied. The painful wounds can make daily activities such as walking difficult. Jiggers can also cause gangrene, tetanus, and blood poisoning, which can be fatal. Fumigation of affected areas can help eradicate the bugs. people living in jigger-infested areas are encouraged to wear shoes for protection.
See a story that really should be animated? Suggest stories to Tomo News now.
There is no medication currently available that can kill the parasite, nor is there a vaccine available to prevent infection from taking place. If bacterial infection occurs, antibiotics may be prescribed.
Tiny man-eaters can strike without ever being noticed, until they've had their fill. This researcher has been infected with a chigo flea, a parasite more commonly known as a sand flea or a chigger.
Chiggers, we love them.
The flea latches onto an unprotected foot, digs in, and feeds. It may sound unpleasant, but the damage is minimal, unless it's a female ready to reproduce. A pregnant chigger burrows in under the skin. Within a couple of weeks, her 1 millimeter frame balloons into a pea-sized ball of pain. A swollen lesion develops that makes movement difficult. But if the lesion gets infected, then a painful nuisance becomes a serious medical problem. Severe cases can lead to tetanus, gangrene, and auto-amputation. So if underneath your skin is a chigger that's expecting, what should you do? A. Burn it. B. Cut it out. Or C. Pull it out. The correct answer is B. Cut it out. Burning causes as much damage to you as to the chigger. Pulling it out can rupture the egg sac and increase the chances of infection. Cutting out the entire lesion removes every part of the flea, but don't stop there. Clean the wound thoroughly and apply antibiotics. And that's how you survive a chigger infestation.
Tungiasis is prevalent in urban and rural human settlements with extreme poverty and inadequate sanitary conditions in Mexico, Costa Rica, Haiti, Trinidad, Brazil, Venezuela, Ecuador, Peru, Argentina, Africa, and India. To conclude, without treatment, the parasite may cause a lesion with itching, rash, and inflammation for approximately 2 weeks. The parasite will then die and the lesion will clear. Reinfection is highly likely in such cases. Precautions should be taken to reduce the chances for reinfection.
Today we're going to look at how the sand flea Tunga penetrans made its way to Africa in 1872. One of the first recorded sources comes from the British cargo ship Thomas Mitchell, a 500-ton sailing vessel built in 1851. It brought coal from England to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. The crew picked up sand fleas that they came in contact with there, and the ship was infested. The ship then sailed from Rio to Angola, Africa, where it arrived in 1872. The sand fleas were carried to shore by the infected sailors and also in old coffee sacks. Within a short time, the local population suffered terribly from foot ulcers. At first, they didn't know the cause. Before the end of 1872, the sand flea had been carried southward to Sao Paulo and northward into the Congo. The rapid spread was due to coastal vessels, which used various ports along the coast. While Tunga penetrans spread rapidly along the west coast, its transportation deeper inland needed more time. It took place mainly by the old caravan routes through Africa. By 1895, Senegalese soldiers carried the sand flea to the island of Madagascar, and by 1898 it had reached Zanzibar. Soldiers played an important role in transporting sand fleas throughout the world for coming decades. There is even evidence of German camps being abandoned in Africa due to massive sand flea infestations. The parasite still ravages much of Kenya and Western Africa. Leave your comments below. What are your thoughts on the sand flea? Thanks for watching.